Welcome back to Get Your Shit Together. I'm your host, Belen Salomon, and I am so excited for today's episode and my guest, Celeste Thomas. Celeste is a registered nurse and skincare pro. She has a holistic approach and is all about healing from the inside out. We talk about the gut, we talk about our skin, we talk about products that we should be using, not using, ingredients to be looking for, and we kind of discuss it all, including stress management and tips on how to be confident if you are somebody who is struggling with acne, problematic skin. And I'm really excited for this because she is just a fountain of information, and she really kind of explains it very easily, and it's digestible and approachable. So I hope you guys enjoy, and without further ado, please meet Celeste Thomas. Hi, Celeste.
Hello, Belen. It's so good to see your face, but also be here. I'm so excited.
I know. It's been so long. We met, what, 7 years ago, would you say?
7,
yeah,
8,
right?
or 9. I mean, yeah.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute. So I've known Celeste, as I just said, for several years, and she is the skin queen. And I'm very excited to get into this episode because she's going to tell us all about her tricks, her tips, and how we got to eat to glow. So Celeste, please, without any further ado, tell us your background, tell us how you got into this, and just, give us the 411.
Yes, I love it. Eat to glow, incorporating that in. So I am a registered nurse and holistic skincare expert, also a new mom. And I got into...
Duh.
Yeah, so if there's any mamas out there dealing with skincare stuff, I've got you. But I got into the world of skin, specifically holistic skincare, because of my acne battle. I have genetic acne, it runs in my family. I've had cystic acne, hormonal acne issues ever since I hit puberty. So really dealt with a lot of acne struggles, middle school, high school, college, and it inspired me to work in aesthetic skincare, so dermatology, plastics as a nurse. And then I realized after going through all of that education that alone is not enough to heal your skin. So it's been a 10-year journey finding what really works and how to help people. And now I just want to share that with as many people as I can.
Wow. Also amazing, but mostly wow, what you just said, like it's not enough doing all the schooling, everything that you've done. So tell me a little bit more about that. Like explain to me what you mean that it's just not enough.
So I learned how to care for skin from the Western philosophy, all dermatologists, medications, Band-Aid treatments, and I did everything just short of Accutane. Even though my doctor, dermatologist at the time, told me that would be the only way to heal my skin, didn't do that, but did every other medication, hormonal birth control, different
me too.
Antibiotics, everything. And it left me really, really confused and depleted and depressed about my skin. So then it was, luckily I was in LA, had some friends that were into like fermentation workshops, and the wellness world, it really kind of, inspired me. So I just delved deeper into, gut, brain, skin connection, eating and what food does for skin, hydration, sleep for skin, just pretty much how every part of our life actually contributes to what shows up on our face.
So what's so interesting about like us chatting today is I had the founder of Just Thrive Health on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about the importance of the gut brain connection and how it all stems from our gut. And what's interesting about, I guess I should say what's frustrating, not so much interesting about this, is we go to the dermatologist, right? Perfect example is me, which we'll get into my skin journey. But, my skin has changed a lot, especially since the move. And I've seen a couple dermatologists and they never say, what are you eating? What's going on with your gut? What's going on in your life? It's like, why don't you try spirulactin? Why don't you try this? Whatever it is. Yep. And like you just said, these are Band-Aids. So yeah, my skin looks great for like a couple weeks. And then I run out the prescription, or they're like, oh, there's a blood clot warning on this, so we don't want you to continue taking it. And I'm like, dude, bro, this is still not fixed. So lifestyle factors they play a huge role.
A huge role. And with doctors, you think about our Western medical system, they don't really have time, first of all. They're not paid to have enough time. They have a very short amount of time with you. And they're also not trained in anything besides drugs and meds. So
Right.
we can't expect them to fully help us, which is a bummer because we put so much trust in these people. And I don't believe that they're necessarily trying to avoid these huge factors that are so important. They just don't know better.
Right.
So I would say lifestyle factors are more important than a medication. I mean, your skin is really a window into what's happening inside of your body because all of our inflammatory issues, our gut health issues, stress issues show up on your face.
I'm doing
That's
it
where
all
we
wrong.
have all the things.
I'm doing it all wrong, Celeste, because the stress is terrible. My hormones are terrible. So, but no, I agree. I think so much of it is lifestyle factors. And the sleep.
Lynn, you have to give yourself grace because you are not living in a society that's set up for you to have good gut health, manage stress levels. We are all on this hamster wheel. Our food quality is terrible. Our soil is terrible, so the food's terrible. So we are up shit creek. And it takes a lot of know-how and tools and tips in order to feel like you have it together in the skin department.
Amen, girlfriend. I mean, that's why this podcast is called Get Your Shit Together, and that includes your skin. Okay?
Yes.
So, no, but I totally agree with you. And it is so hard not to get down on yourself, and also whether it's vanity or not, like when our skin is not good, I mean, it's very difficult to be like ready to go and up and at 'em. And especially like, for yourself and me, like we're creating content and it's like, and it's even more frustrating because, I'm in my late 30s and I'm like, can there be like one great thing about aging? What? Like what the fuck?
Acne does not discriminate.
It really doesn't.
Melasma, no, we just get wrinkles with it as we age and we're like, cool.
Literally. Okay, so I have so many questions like I want to ask.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, do you think skin health is related to hormones? And they play a role?
100%. They play such a huge role. They really do. When you think about most women are dealing with skin flare-ups before their period, like the luteal phase is usually the time you're having more oil production, you're going to be more acne prone. So there's no question that your hormones play a huge role in your skin. When we look at one I really want to talk about is cortisol, which is a stress hormone.
Yes.
It affects your thyroid. It affects every part of your hormonal system. And when our cortisol is high, it causes inflammation in the body. And I'm going to say that word a lot because so many of the things we don't want to have happen in our skin, redness, rosacea, breakouts, irritation, premature aging, melasma, everything has to do with inflammation.
Okay, so it's interesting that you bring that up about the thyroid because actually last month I got like a whole blood panel done and I ended up going to see like a vital health anti-aging doctor to read my blood work, which was fascinating. And he was like, do you have a thyroid condition? I was like, no, I've been tested a million times, totally in the normal range. He was like, you have a low thyroid. And I was like, excuse me? He was like, you have a low thyroid. And he got into the side effects of what, how you feel when you have a low thyroid. And Celeste, I was so fucking shook and so angry. And also like, I felt like finally I feel seen. Like, so there is reasons why, I have acne, brain fatigue, hair loss, dry skin, cold hands, all the things that go with it. But everyone's telling me I was in the normal range.
Which is so frustrating. And that's why functional doctors like the one you saw are great because they're meeting the two worlds together like I do with my education. They're taking the time to get to know you and your lifestyle. And they're actually reading your blood work for optimized health, not just you're alive.
And listen, I'm hanging on by a thread, so they really should not be reading my blood work for that. That's for sure. But it kind of, to be honest, it gave me a little bit of like, You know, I was like,
Yeah.
that's why my skin, because like you said, my body is screaming at me. Like, this is, and again, obviously you look at me, you're like, you have good skin. Yes, but like for what I do, how I care for myself, something's up, you know, like internally. And like what we were saying, like our gut and our microbiome, that's where it starts.
That's where it all starts. And I really do recommend, if any of your listeners are really suffering from the debilitating, skin issues that you and I have both faced, where you don't want to leave the house and
For real.
you're borderlining depressed or anxious, having someone who's a functional health doctor is such a great way. And people don't think of that when they think of skincare, but really having someone get in there and look at your lifestyle is so helpful in really finding your levels and helping you develop a lifestyle plan and maybe some supplementation in order to get things on track with your body that will show up in your skin.
100%. So one of the things I recently did, and I'm like very excited to talk to you about this, is I cut caffeine out of my diet. And I did it because obviously my cortisol's through the roof. And I have always read that like coffee's dehydrating, it can affect the skin, not to mention all the shit that's on coffee if you're not buying like organic beans, which of course I am, but like who knows? It's not like I'm growing it, you know? So I'd love to know your thoughts on like, I know you don't drink caffeine, but I'd love to know your thoughts on coffee, on matcha, on tea, like spill the tea.
I'm so glad you brought this up. This makes me so happy because in my work doing private one-on-one coaching for holistic skincare, I treated thousands of women, and one huge issue I found in so many of their diets is coffee drinks. Like you said, first of all, there's multiple problems with coffee, and then we'll get into tea and really caffeine. But coffee has a certain percentage or amount of caffeine in it that just hits you like a ton of bricks. Mm-hmm. Most people are having coffee first thing without any water, without any food in their stomach. So they are getting a caffeine hit to the body that raises cortisol levels.
Which I did my entire, like from like 16 until a month ago.
And women tend to be a lot more caffeine sensitive than men. Of course, lucky us.
Of course. We literally do not get a break. Of course.
For anything. Seriously. So number one problem with coffee, what you said. Number two problem with coffee, there's a doctor, Dr. Perricone, and he's a dermatologist, but he does a lot of research in skin health. And I find his research really interesting. And he actually found that coffee specifically raises oil production in the body. So on the surface of the skin, you'll see more oil, more sebum. People who are drinking a lot of coffee are going to be more prone to breakouts and acne.
Wow.
Which
is, I only really had 1 cup of coffee a day. Like I've never been one of those people who need like 2 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. Like I can't have coffee like that. But I started noticing that it was doing more harm than good, you know? And I think for a lot of us, it's the routine, right? Like you wake up, you grind your coffee, whatever you do. But that can be done with, peppermint tea or a turmeric latte, which I've been super into. But I am curious, like your thoughts on matcha and like, chai tea, black tea, like if you have any, if you don't, like, I really like, I'm very curious.
Yeah. So the thing about, all of these drinks is you can incorporate them into your life if you do it the right way. I'm not against caffeine. It's just for those of your listeners, and I'm sure there'll be a lot who don't want to give up their coffee. That's okay. I like coffee every once in a while, flavor wise. So do a decaf. Mm-hmm. It still has a little bit of caffeine. I think 5 milligrams as opposed to 150. You get your flavor. Buy an organic decaf that's cold, Swiss pressed, so it's not hyper pumped with a ton of chemicals, and have some sort of milk that doesn't have any inflammatory oils, no refined sugar. Use a little monk fruit, make your own almond milk. I mean, I can send you some brands that you could put in the show notes that are really good ones.
Yes.
So there's that. And then matcha, I actually love for skin.
Okay.
Because it has an amino acid called L-theanine. Have you heard of that?
I want to say yes, but please tell us what that is. Yes.
So L-theanine is actually an amino acid that makes your body metabolize the caffeine very slowly
Okay.
in the body. So you're getting a little bit of sustained energy throughout the day. It's actually been researched and found to be calming, have a calming effect.
Interesting. Okay.
And there are so many antioxidants in green tea. It's very anti-aging. It's anti-carcinogen. It has so many properties that are much more rich and full than just a plain tea bag, because it's the whole leaf ground up into powder. So you're eating all of the properties of the green tea leaf.
Right. I love matcha personally. Like I get on matcha kicks. I kind of, when I made the decision about coffee, I was like, I'm not going to have caffeine. I've had like 1 or 2 matchas and like, I feel fine. But to your point, I think that's the issue is like and I'm so guilty of this. Like I intermittent fast and I would have my coffee, empty stomach, just burning sensation in my stomach, like immediately burning. And then then you're not hungry because your stomach is like, I hate you.
Fire.
It's screaming. I'm on fire. Yeah.
And
so,
for you as a woman, that's a double whammy of stress to your system that's causing a hormonal imbalance, because intermittent fasting has not been tested fully on women and its hormonal impacts on us. It's only men. So we don't even really know the full extent. And we do know that intermittent fasting can be more taxing on the body during certain times in your cycle. So you are just hitting your system with these stressors that was literally causing your body to melt down.
right. No, it's so interesting because like, I'm like at this age, I'm like, how did I not know this information before? Because I've always not been like a breakfast eater personally. Like I eat more around noon, and I'm all about like intuitive eating as well. Like, you know, but it is when I look back, I'm like everything you said makes sense. And, you know, because what is it called when you can like cycle eat or like cycle workout? Like
Cycle syncing.
Yes. Which I haven't done, but that's a whole other thing that would impact your skin.
Again, not your fault. When you look at what's happening on social media, what's being marketed to you, what's happening with a lot of, men in the world, like getting lots of benefits from these two things, right. They can handle caffeine and intermittent fasting a lot better. But so many scientific research studies are not done in women. And we're just like, no one cares. It's like, great.
Wonderful. Perfect. I'm sure like Alejandro would thrive with all of these things. Meanwhile,
he would.
I'm crumbling. It's so enraging. So you mentioned about like almond milk, making your own almond milk. So I mean, I already kind of know what you're going to say about this, but like talk to me about refined sugar and the effects on your skin.
It is the worst thing you can do for your skin, hands down. Inflammatory process. It is so aging. I mean, if we had a set of twins, like one who eats sugar, one doesn't, I mean, you will see wrinkles, fine lines, pigmentation, inflammation. Like sugar is the devil to your skin.
I feel like sugar is just the devil in general. I mean, it's delicious.
In general.
But it's literally, you're right. It's the cancer. Like we know it's bad, but we keep going back all the time. So
it's like cocaine. It's the most addictive substance in our pantries. So you can't even blame yourself. If you have it, you're going to drink it.
100%. That being said though, like, is there any sugars, like I'm assuming natural sugars, fruit, cacao nibs, like you're like, that's okay.
Totally. I'm just talking about refined sugar. And I hate it when people say like, oh, it's coconut sugar. I'm like, that's a highly refined sugar. Right. Honey, agave. I mean, everyone to each their own. I know you don't like stevia.
No.
I listen to one podcast about that. And there is something to be said about if you're going to do an alternative like a stevia or a monk fruit, you need to make sure it's pure and organic, which is harder to find.
Is it different from local?
Local?
Like local honey?
Oh, honey has a huge glycemic impact on your skin. So, honey is one of those things that will jack up your insulin and resistance and really have the same effect as sugar. So one sweetener that I'm into, if you want to put a date and grind that up with your almond milk, something like that, like go ahead. Has fiber in it. It's really, really maximized to be able to be bioavailable and create less of a glycemic impact if you're putting it with like a little bit of fat in your coffee. Maybe you're putting a little coconut milk and there's fat in the almonds and protein. So I really recommend if you can just get rid of your sugar and just your palate will adjust to lower sugar,
Yeah.
or, it's fruit sugars kind of blended into a nut milk that you make at home.
Right. Yeah. I'm really lucky. I've never been like addicted to sugar like that, like sodas or like Splenda or any of that. Like I didn't grow up around it. Like obviously, like, if I had a baked good, of course, but I never added that shit to my coffee. So, I mean, I'm addicted to like Hue chocolate, and like chocolate covered dates, but I feel like that's so much. I mean, it's literally cacao. So I feel like that's okay.
And you know what? When you know that chocolate is a treat, you're having a treat. But the problem I was seeing with my coaching clients is that they were putting 15 milligrams of sugar from their Oatly in their coffee every morning. So it was literally like the sugar plus the vegetable oils that are in that, plus the caffeine. And it was just setting them up for such a bad day. Because once that's your breakfast, what you have in the morning sets you up. Like you were saying, your coffee, when you felt like probably anxious and had stomach pain, well, it's going to set you up for a crappy day.
Totally. And then you're getting glucose spikes.
Totally.
So since we're on the topic about food, tell me the foods to avoid and then foods that we should be incorporating, and like foods that you love that help with glowy skin. Because I know this is definitely your expertise area.
I love it so much. First of all, I'm just like you. I love food.
Yeah. My God.
Love to cook, love to make food. Food is everything.
100%.
What am I eating all day?
Literally,
I care about.
I will text Alejandro at like 1. I'm like, what's for dinner? He's like, it's 1. I'm like, I need to know.
And that's a beautiful thing. I mean, you are what you eat. The oldest thing. It's like part of Greek mythology and carved on Roman statues. It's like food is so important.
100%.
And the buckets that I try to advise to not incorporate into your diet or reduce as much as possible. First thing is highly processed foods. Mm-hmm. There are some good brands of healthier stuff. I'm sure you use them, the Primal Kitchens of the world.
Yes.
Pretty much everything else is crap.
Which is really like disturbing and upsetting because obviously like when you go to Europe or Hawaii, I'm thriving.
Yeah.
I lose weight.
Fresh food, real food.
Fresh food, like no problem with gluten, no problem with anything. Like I'm living. And then here it's like I drink water and my skin is inflamed and my stomach is bloated. It's a fucking disaster.
Our country just doesn't have our back. So you have to be the one
totally
really curating the food. You have to make it yourself. And
yeah.
Meal prepping, batch cooking. I mean, you share resources on your Instagram. I share resources. Like people just have to get in the groove of going to the store, buying organic, make it yourself. You can have anything you want. It's just use good ingredients. There's almost nothing I would tell you not to eat if you made it yourself with good ingredients.
So I'm curious on your thoughts on dairy.
So the thing about dairy, I don't have a problem with dairy, organic dairy, raw dairy, but genetically acne prone people can have a really negative reaction to dairy. Again, scientifically proven, can make genetically acne prone people break out. So if you're unsure and you're breaking out, do a test. You could do a food sensitivity test or at home, give up dairy for a week and see how your skin reacts.
100%. And, one thing about being in Texas is like the farmers. So it's interesting coming from California because obviously, farmers markets are epic and there's so much produce. There's so much fruit. There's none of that here because you cannot grow here. However, the like dairy, the meats is so legit here. Like they pack the meat the morning of the farmer's market. Same with the cheese. Like there's this guy that sells insane goat cheese. If I can ship it to you, I'm going to. And it's like, he literally produced it like the day before. And you taste it. You taste the quality. And Alejandro usually, well, he's addicted to cheese, but he doesn't get stomach aches with this guy's goat cheese. So to your point, if it's pure, we can't eat everything. It's just, we have to be our own advocates, right? So exactly like you said, like we have to either like grow it, go to farmer's market, like do our best to get clean organic food because it shows up right here.
Yeah, this is your life. You get one life on this earth, and what you eat is going to impact your longevity. And it's not only how old you are, but how good you feel throughout your life. So it is the most important thing you can do for yourself.
I completely agree. And like that last week when I was at the doctor, that's what I told him. I was just like, I just want to feel good. Like, yes, I want my skin obviously to look incredible, but it has to start within.
100%. And that transitioning to things you should eat, you'll love this. It's exactly what we talked about local and farmers markets. So the really cool thing is that our gut microbiome has thousands, if not millions, of different bacteria. And what you eat will feed the bacteria. So different bacteria need different micronutrients. So eating a varied diet, especially one, because Mother Nature is way smarter than we are, whatever food is in season, whatever food is native to where you are, that food is going to help the bacteria in your body where you are during that season thrive and grow and replicate better than anything else.
Yes.
It's like, duh, right?
Exactly. But like, no one's fucking telling us this.
And it makes perfect sense.
It makes perfect sense. So I know you're like the queen of fermentation. So is there any, like, someone like me who's never done it? Like, is it intimidating? Is it easy? Like, what can you tell us about that?
It's so much easier than anyone would ever think. And I'll
really
link I have an ebook teaching people how to do it really simply with like a starter you can buy on Amazon. Like,
amazing.
It is easy. And every single culture on earth before we lost all of our heritage in America had a fermentation process.
Wow. So what is a day of eating for you like?
Yeah. So I always start the day with water. I love ice. Lots of ice water.
So hydration is extremely important.
Hydration is the most important. Also, you're talking about supporting your hormones. So first thing before any caffeine, then I will have a matcha that has collagen powder in it. And it has a little bit of oat milk from this brand called Add Joy, which is just organic oats pulverized.
And I'm curious to know your thoughts about collagen.
I'm obsessed with collagen.
Is it plant-based or is it whey?
So no, collagen usually is like bovine tendon or eggshells. The one I use is Ancient Nutrition. So it's 5 different sources. It's a fish, eggshell, chicken, beef, and I forget what the last one is. Maybe it's algae. But the great thing about collagen is it's not a complete protein, but it has all these amino acids that helps your body produce collagen internally. So
amazing.
Plumping your skin, helping with fine lines and wrinkles, helping your joints. Your nails will grow crazy.
I need you to legitimately send me a list, and I need to put all this in the notes. And then I need you to fix my life also. But so you put it in your matcha?
Yes. Okay. And I use an organic ceremonial grade, very bright green matcha powder. And it is the most delicious thing that you will have. Okay.
So you do your water, you do your matcha.
Then I'm a huge breakfast eater. Give me all the meals. If there were 4 or 5 in a day, I'd be done for it. So I do a smoothie. I have an Eat to Glow smoothie recipe that I do all the time. It's primarily like spinach, spirulina. Maybe I'll do some berries or a little citrus. I love to put a whole lemon. Antioxidants, anti-inflammatory. I'll do grass-fed beef protein. This is Be Well by Kelly or Ancient Nutrition. They have some great ones that are dairy-free, like bovine. We don't know what's in it, but
we're taking it.
We're taking it. It's healthy. Or have you heard of Rookie?
No.
So that's a great organic plant-based one that I use sometimes. That's really good. It's like a seed base.
Okay.
So we'll do that. And then I'm not a big snacker. I like to let my body fully metabolize food in between meals, which I think is helpful for inflammation.
I totally agree. I'm not a snacker either.
Yeah, I feel like your body is just going to be so taxed by that all day, that energy, all the things.
Yeah.
So that, and then at lunch, I have what's called a big ugly salad, which is like my thing.
I love it.
It's just like what it sounds, just leftovers, local veggies, greens, homemade
Delish.
salad dressing, all the things.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then dinner, I mean, I cook pretty much every night. I know you do as well. So it's a protein. I don't have any issues with high quality carbs and starches. Like I'll do baked potatoes or sweet potatoes.
My favorite.
So good. So that with, a steak or a chicken, we do a lot of grilling, do a lot of salad, roasted veggies. Just we try to keep it real clean.
Yeah, and you're eating all the whole foods. Like you're doing everything that you need to be doing. What I really need to know is, do you have anything sweet every night? Because I do.
And I love that for you. I don't, because I'm actually a really big sugar addict. So when I do eat it, I have no self-control. I get in this spiral of wanting sugar. So I don't. I'll do like a tea at the end of the night, maybe. Or
I
like
do a tea, but
smoothies.
I'm dipping my Q chocolate in it. It's a problem.
It's not though. If that ritual brings you joy and
True.
you can handle it, great. But some of us in this world cannot handle having any. Otherwise, we go crazy.
Yeah, no, I've always loved chocolate, but I eat the purest one I can find. Like it's not like I'm eating a Snickers, which again, if I wanted to, I would eat it. But I typically am eating the cacao
chocolate.
Yes, my favorite. I'm like, sponsor me, please.
And this is my days are pretty, quote unquote, like healthy, good. I still have, if I go to a carnival, if it's a weekend, I'm going to eat whatever I want. And I'll just know that if I get a breakout on a Monday because I had pizza and beer and candy, then at least I know where it's coming from. And it was a choice. And I feel like empowered, like, screw it. I did that and great. I'll pay for this it. Maybe next weekend I won't eat that, but.
Right. So how long has, obviously your skin's insane. Like you're glowing. Like I need to put sunglasses on. So how long was your journey to get here?
From, 14 or maybe 12 to close to 30. I mean, I was still struggling at times when I got married at 29. So it really has taken me so long to figure out what works for me.
How was your skin during your pregnancy and now after the pregnancy?
It's funny because I'm someone who has always been oily and acne prone. So I would need tons of acids all the time. I'm constantly fighting the breakouts in the oil. The progesterone in my pregnancy completely got rid of all my oil. I was dry for the first time in my life. I didn't have one single breakout pretty much in my entire pregnancy and postpartum.
Wow.
Which is so crazy. So it's like, maybe the one easy part about pregnancy is that your skin can clear up.
So I have really oily skin, and I'm always fighting breakouts. And what I found out last week is that I actually I produce very low progesterone. Yep. So they put me on a progesterone. So fingers crossed that I'm going to be having a nice glow soon. But that's so interesting that the progesterone just cleared everything for you.
Totally. And that makes perfect sense. And I'm so happy that you got info about your specific hormones, because that's what we need. This is all individual. We all need help just figuring out our skin, because you can watch hundreds of Instagram stories. You can follow 800 people. So much of skin is that intuitive. Like you said, you knew something was off and you trusted that feeling and you sought help. I just implore everyone listening, if you feel like something's off, if you feel like something you're eating may be contributing, you're probably right.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, I think stress is a huge thing. When I'm on vacation and I'm relaxed and my skin's glowing, my stomach's not bloated, and I think stress is obviously a very difficult thing to control for most of us. But it really does show up on our skin.
It does. And when I do coaching with people, I always talk to them about what's your stress relieving technique practice? What do you do? And most people look at me like, what are you talking about?
Right.
And a lot of people say they work out. Right. But for most people, a high intensity class is not reducing stress for you.
I'm so glad you're bringing this up, because I'm all about low impact. I know you are too. Walking is my fucking shit. Pilates, yoga. I don't mind. like today I did like a high intensity 20-minute workout. And even then I was going at my pace. It was like 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. And I felt okay. But when I was like obsessed with Orange Theory for like a minute. And I, in the moment, felt like, oh, okay, yeah, like I feel energized. And then I'd feel like shit. And then I finally realized the correlation with high intensity workouts and my fucking cortisol spiking through the roof.
Totally. And that's a huge issue, especially for women. So if Orange Theory is Belinda's stress relieving practice, then we're going to go back to the drawing board and say, if you love high intensity workouts, that's great. But what is that thing you do during the day? I highly recommend in the morning when our cortisol peaks the highest. Are you meditating? Are you journaling? Are you walking outside with Fiona? What are you doing that brings you peace before you get into your day? Because it's those little habits that can actually drastically reduce your stress.
Well, I think that was the lesson in the pandemic, right? At least for me. Like when we were home, the simple joys of walking Fiona, walking in our neighborhood, cooking, we started gardening. And I was like, even though the world's going to shit, there was calmness and peace in our surroundings. And then, when we moved to Austin, that's like my thing every morning. I listen to a podcast, I go on a 2-mile walk with Fiona, and then I journal and I can start my day. I'm working on getting better with meditation, but that is a form of meditation for me, walking and like listening to information, or sometimes I just listen to the birds.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be meditation. I think people think like, oh, I need to meditate and then journal and I need this and this and this. No, just what do you like? Do you like singing? Do you like coloring? Like, I don't care what it is. Yeah. What brings you peace where your phone is not in your hand? Totally. Give yourself an hour without your phone, drink whatever you're drinking, do your thing. And I swear to you, that reduction in cortisol is just going to follow you throughout your day. Plus, the more you're in that routine, the lower your stress levels are just going to be overall.
And I think I have to give you props. You're very good with social media, and you take every weekend off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's really amazing. And I think that's a whole other topic and a whole other podcast, but like how much being on our phones and the addiction to all of these apps are fucking us up, not only mentally, but like the stressors that it's creating in us too. And like, we're just going about life on our phones, like no problem. It's
such a problem.
It's such a problem.
If any of us can do 30 minutes to an hour in the morning, give yourself that time and think about it like it's this freaking spa experience for you. Like no one should have access to you. You are more important than whatever is happening in the world. So take that time for yourself, and I swear you will see a difference in your skin.
Amen, girlfriend. Amen. I want to talk about SPF.
Yeah. I love it.
Okay. Because there's some people who don't believe in it. So I want to know your thoughts and which ones are your favorites, because obviously there's a lot of shit in SPF.
Yep. So I understand the people who don't want to use sunscreen. Vitamin D is very important, right? I personally would rather get the vitamin D through my arms and my supplement cabinet than be a wrinkly old saddle face.
Obvi.
So personally, I'm going to do my face, neck, chest, hands, and the rest of me can get a little vitamin D. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take my vitamin D. But that sunscreen argument, I don't think it's valid for people who care about what their face
or have melasma like me.
Or have melasma, 100%.
And you know what's crazy? I've always lived in a hot climate, California, Austin, and I've had a vitamin D deficiency my entire life.
You and 95% of women.
So, and everyone likes to blame it on, a lot of people like to say it's because of the sunscreen. And I'm like, no, it's on, like you said, it's on my face, chest, and hands. Like whatever's left over, I do this. But I agree with you. I think I'd rather get it everywhere else than this.
Totally. And then the other thing is that a lot of people don't like a chemical SPF. So there's physical and chemical SPF. Mm-hmm. Physical SPF is the zinc oxides of the world. The chemical SPFs of the world are like the oxybenzone, the benzo, confusing long words.
And is that the one that's like blue basically when you put it on?
So zinc oxide has a lot of white, but now there's formulations that make it a lot easier to blend. And I love a physical sunscreen because it's non-toxic. It's much safer for your skin. It's safer for the environment. So I use a zinc oxide SPF every day.
Which one do you use?
I'm obsessed with the new one from Ilia. It has like niacinamide, vitamin C. It is so smooth and just blends, melts right into your skin.
And what's the percentage of it?
35.
Okay. Yeah.
You would love it.
Yeah. I use Ulta MD because it's 50. Mm-hmm. Also, the Texas Sun girlfriend is gnarly. It's no fucking joke. It's slowly calming down, but I'm like out there with the giant hat.
And thank God.
I know. Trust me. I'm like, 100 things I look insane. I'm like, listen, I'm trying to remain youthful.
You're like, I, again, am not a man. I don't have the liberty of looking like a weathered old saddle at 60. Like, I still got to look fresh.
100%. So tell me, okay, two things. What are some ingredients to avoid when looking at skincare and ones that like are Celeste approved?
The hard thing about the first question is that when a brand or, the industry identifies an ingredient as bad and toxic, like the methylparabens and all those things, brands will disguise the chemical name as something else to trick everyone because then it's not identifiable.
Are you kidding? Well, I mean,
no.
I guess surprised? Who's surprised? Yeah.
I'm surprised. So what I like to do is there's two ways to do it. One is there's the environmental working group, EWG Skin Database.
Okay.
You can type in any product, any ingredient. It'll give you a clean to dirty score, 1 to 10, least to worst.
Wow.
So that's great if you want to look up products you already have. But honestly, just find a store like a Credo Beauty, the detox market, which is trustworthy, and just shop from those places. So you don't have to worry about it because they're doing the work for you.
That's amazing, by the way. And so what about like Target, for instance? I feel like they have kind of stepped up their skincare, like inventory, if you will. Like, is there good products there? Like, I guess what I'm asking is like, you don't need to buy La Mer. You can buy a product that is, like I see Coco Kind at Target, and I love Coco Kind. I think they're such a amazing company. So am I wrong, or what I'm saying is like correct?
You are so spot on. Target really has stepped up, and 3 of their in-house brands now that are affordable, like most products under $20. Coco Kind, absolutely love, one of the cleanest, most affordable brands. Versed, which has some really good actives, like their retinol, their vitamin C, really effective products. And then there's a product called Rael, or it's Rael.
Okay.
Maybe it's pronounced real, but they have feminine care, like organic tampons, but they also they're developing more and more skincare, sheet masks, great non-toxic stuff.
It was just really amazing that Target has like stepped that up, because I feel like, somebody walks in and they're like, oh, I'm going to grab Neutrogena, or I'm going to grab like the Oxy pads. Like now I don't go to Target that often, but the past couple times I have, I'm like, yo, like they're really stepping it up, and it's amazing and affordable.
That's the thing. I am gifted everything under the sun, as are you. I use a lot of affordable products in my daily routine. Like most of the things I'm using are not $50. And I've tried the $50 thing. I'm like, I don't think I really need that. Sure, maybe for your vitamin C serum or your sunscreen or things that are really protecting you. Maybe if you want to go a little higher, but really your cleanser, your mist, certain things, it's like, you don't need to spend $60 on a cleanser.
So what are some of your favorite clean, affordable brands? And I also would love to know, like, I know this, but I would love for like the listeners to know like the proper order of skincare.
Yes. Really, those Target brands you mentioned, Coco Kind and Versed, are the 2 affordable brands that I use consistently, that are a part of, if not my daily routine, weekly routine. And some highlights from them. The Versed emergency eye mask I use as an eye cream. It's like this hydrating gel texture. It is so incredible for your under eyes and wrinkles. Next
Amazing.
level, the Cocoa Kind Rose Water Mist, dirt cheap, so great for hydrating. It'd be great for your skin type, being dry, but also struggling with breakouts. So those are great. And then you asked about order. So
Yes.
I have like a 10-step skincare routine because I'm crazy, obviously.
I mean, so do I. But like kind of like the proper order that we should be doing. Like for the girl that's busy, the girl on the go, like their morning routine, like lay it on us.
Yes. And the thing about this order I'm going to tell you is you can take out any of it and it's still going to be the same order. So it doesn't matter if your skincare routine is 3 steps or you have 10 products, it's all this order. So cleanser is number 1, obviously.
Of course.
Please, dear God, people cleanse morning and night. So many people do not cleanse in the morning. Think of all the crap that's on your pillow, dust mites, building materials, oil from the night before, old product from the week before. Like, what are we doing here?
Every time I change out our air purifier, I'm like, ugh, this is disgusting.
See? So you don't want that on your skin. Why would you lay product over that? So cleanse. If you're sensitive, use a gentle cleanser.
Okay.
And I'm so big on cleansing. That's why I'm stuck here. Please also wash for at least a minute. Massage your skin.
So this is something I'm recently doing. Yeah,
yes.
I'm recently starting because I'd be like, and then I'm done. And then I was thinking about it not that long ago. I'm like, why am I spending 10 seconds doing this when, like you just said, I also think we should be stimulating our face, the lymphatic, draining it out, sculpting our face because our hands are so powerful.
Totally. And you might not even realize you're not even ever washing the top of your nose. Then you're like, oh, I have clogged pores. And it's like, most people don't even
100
wash here.
I'm curious. Do you like Bioderma or what are your thoughts on Bioderma?
I haven't really researched it too much,
Okay.
to be completely honest. It's a micellar water. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure it's probably pretty clean. I would just look at the ingredients. If it's 1,800 ingredients, probably not. Or look at the EWG Skin Deep database.
I'm obviously texting you the back of it because I use it every day. God damn it. Okay. So you cleanse for 1 minute. You massage your face.
Then you're going to want to use, I like to put my eye product on right after I cleanse because it's the most sensitive area. And if you put a toner on first, then maybe that will irritate your eye area.
Okay.
So I like to do eye. Then I'll do either a toner or an essence. So
What's an essence?
An essence is something that's interchangeable with a toner. It's like a Korean beauty staple. A toner or an essence, it primes the pH of your skin, hydrates, and gets your skin ready to absorb all of your serums and creams and oils.
Okay.
Great for dry skin.
Oh, okay.
Highly recommend. So then after your toner or essence, then you want to go in with your serums. So I always do my most active serum first, whether that's a vitamin C during the day or maybe it's a retinol serum at night. Then I do more of a hydrating protective serum after. So maybe that's a hyaluronic acid. I love a lot of serum. That's
Me too.
Totally like an advanced routine, but serum. Then you do a mist. You want to seal in all of that hydration, all those good ingredients, another layer. It's the layering effect that gives you that glowy, really healthy skin.
Okay. And then moisturizer.
Moisturizer or oil, whichever you choose to use. Then SPF.
Okay. So do you switch up your products or are you somebody who sticks to a very strict regimen of products? Because I've heard both sides, like shampoo and conditioner, like you have to switch it up for your scalp. Is that the same thing with skincare?
Yes. So I change my skincare almost every day.
Wow.
I mean,
okay.
and it might not be that I'm adding new products. It might be that I'm just taking out a step or adding a step. And this just teaches you to look at your skin, listen to your body. Like, oh, was my skin super oily yesterday? Okay, maybe I'll do a toner that has a little chemical exfoliant. Is my skin really dry right now? Like maybe I should use a non-scrubby bead cleanser and do more gentle stuff because as you know, the temperature is different every day. Stress levels, what we're eating, like our oil production. So really thinking about it, taking a minute for you and being like, okay, I'm actually going to see what my skin needs and take care of myself.
Yeah, I'm very oily right now. So like I said, I'm going to send you 78 photos when we're done with this.
Yes.
Because I've especially since moving to Austin, I haven't really found like a good esthetician and Also, I love Is Clinical. Like I've been using it for so long, but then like I'll incorporate like products from Shawnee, her retinol. And then sometimes I'm like, am I using too many different ones? I recently tried January Labs, which I loved.
Incredible.
And affordable.
Yeah, for what it is and the ingredient quality, that's been one of my favorite brands for years. And, you know, for your skin right now, I think so much of it, the root of it is the hormonal issues that you're going through.
Completely.
And I bet the product is the last key, you know, the last piece of the puzzle in order to get you exactly where you want to be. But I find for people that product is maybe, you know, 25%, and the rest is just figuring out what your body needs.
And I totally agree, because like we were saying in the beginning of the podcast, it's skin, like all the products are great. The medicines are a Band-Aid. You got to get to the root, because you can get off the meds and then you can be like, oh, I'm going to try this new product. It's the product that's making me break out. It's not the product that's making you break out. If you're turning red, okay, sure. But like not everything else that's like going on. What I really want to know your opinion on is, obviously all of these celebrities are coming out with skincare. Kim Kardashian, J-Lo. Tell me, what are your thoughts? Like, are they looking at the ingredients? Are they using their own product?
It really depends on the individual. Like I've done some research into Hailey Bieber skincare.
Oh, and another one, yeah.
Yeah, which is the newest, hottest one. And, you know, if they have a dermatologist who's connected, who knows what they're doing, and also they care about the ingredient quality, it has to be the perfect storm for a celebrity to come out with a good skincare product. Because what the fuck do they know about skincare?
I mean, she's 25. She's
right.
Perfect skin.
And with her, she's really passionate about skincare, and she also wants to create products that are efficacious, and she got a really great dermatologist on board, and she has other experts sourcing great things. But like, I just always will have red flags and question marks about people who have 800 million other businesses doing skincare correctly. I mean, it's like they know they can sell it because they have an audience, but why is J-Lo doing skincare? Is she just doing skincare because she looks great for 50 and she knows she can sell millions of dollars worth of skincare? Or is it something she's going to have forever?
She also says she only uses olive oil. So she can legitimately like spare me.
And do you want to pay the 50, 60, 70, 80% markup like Skin by Kim? Do you want to pay that markup for the celebrity name? Because I personally don't want to pay the markup for the branding. Like the celebrity's making tons of money from you. Because their name's on it, when there's already so many other good skincare products out there.
100%. Like you said, you can go to Target and spend $100 and probably get everything you need for your skincare.
That's just as good, personally. Like I would argue.
100 gazillion %. So getting back to skin and confidence, and as we were saying, it can make you very down, depressed, not want to leave your house. Do you have any tips that you can share if somebody listening is in that stage right now that like just feels very defeated by their skin?
I'm going to try not to get emotional because it's such an emotional topic. And I just want to say, anyone out there who's dealing with that, like Belinda and I, we know where you're coming from. And it is so incredibly hard. It's hard no matter what anyone tells you to look in the mirror and feel good if you're dealing with skin issues. But I will say becoming a mother has really changed my perception, because looking at my beautiful baby, it's like I would never want her to feel bad about what she looked like, because it really doesn't matter that much, right? We're so much more than our skin, and you are someone's beautiful, perfect child. And it's just, I put it into that context, which is kind of weird, but it's like,
no, you're right. They're so pure and innocent.
And to think that anyone would grow up and be self-conscious and feel like they were being judged from what they look like is so sad to me. And if we can just take it back and be like, I am so much more than this breakout. No one else cares what I look like today. So you know what? I'm going to figure out my skin and I'm going to work towards that. But today, when I wake up and look in that mirror, I am me. I am not this breakout. I am not this skin issue. Like, there's so much more to me. The people in my life love me, not because of my skin. The people who look up to me, it's not because of what I look like. So just trying to take the emphasis on off of the aesthetic in the moment when you can't fix it.
Yeah. And I think you made such a point there. No one fucking cares. No one's noticing. Like, I literally last week was in LA and I was with Sheena, and I was like, my fucking skin. She was like, literally, I haven't noticed anything. Like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I have this, I have this. And she's like, no, like, this is all you. And I'm like, fuck, you're right. Like, no one's noticed. And of course, we're our hardest critics, right? Like, we're staring in the magnifying mirror and we're like, there's another pimple, there's a cystatic. But I agree. And I think that's really great advice that I should also take is like, you are more than your skin. And I get it. Like, nobody wants to have breakouts. Nobody wants to have crappy skin. It's the worst. And also, like, I don't wear a ton of makeup, and I don't think you do too. So it's like, I want my skin to be as like glowy and luscious as humanly possible. And when I'm not having those days, you know, it's hard to like feel confident.
Totally. And I just want everyone to have hope, because I've been in a place where my skin was terrible. And learning how to take care of myself in the right way and learning what works for me has brought me to a place where I feel confident without makeup. So anyone who's listening, DM me. You can look at my Instagram. I have so many tips and tricks, and I'm here to help, but just have hope, because it is possible. Do not get defeated by your skin.
Amen, girlfriend. And I want to close it out with, what can people do to get their shit together for their skin? Like, what would be like the top 2 to 3 things that you would tell them?
Start a stress reducing morning practice every day. I don't care if it's 5 minutes, and drink half your body weight in ounces of water a day.
Half your body weight.
Yes.
So I need to be drinking how many of these?
I mean, I don't know exactly how much you weigh and how many is in there, but just do the quick math, drink at least that. What you drink actually shows up how hydrated your skin looks. So easy things, they're free. Anyone can start doing them today. Stress reduction practice and water.
You guys heard that. And please pimp yourself out, Celeste. Where can everyone find you?
So you can find me on Instagram at Celeste Thomas, TikTok, Celeste Thomas RN, YouTube, Celeste Thomas. So pretty much my name everywhere. And I will respond to you if you DM me and if people have questions. I love helping people with their skin, as you know now. And it's so nice to be able to connect with you and talk to your audience. And we are going to get there together, Blynn. I got you.
We are literally having a FaceTime when we're done with this. Thank you so much for coming on here. This was not only so informative, but such a digestible conversation that we had. And it's very enlightening. So I appreciate you taking the time to hang out with me today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And I can't wait to chat about your skin and hopefully, do Austin things, because I love me some Austin.
Please come out. Please.
We'll do all the skincare things. We'll find you a good esthetician. We'll go through all your products and cabinets. We'll go to Target.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.